Hello, everyone, and welcome to IELTSMaterial.com. I'm Shruti Sharma, and I'll be your trainer for this session. So today is day 28 of our question of the day segment. First of all, I would like to thank everybody who's been joining us for the past 28 days and you've been supporting us. So thank you so much for all the support you've been giving us. And for those of you who are new to this channel, make sure you're subscribed to it so that you are aware of the content we are discussing and you'll have an idea every time we go live. So yes, so for today's section, we'll be doing a listening section. We'll be working on listening section. And hi, Gurpreet. Good evening. How are you doing? So yes, we'll be dealing with listening section, and in listening section, we'll be targeting the MCQs today. Okay. So let's take a look at MCQs and why are MCQs tough. Okay. So the reason why students find MCQs tough is that there are a lot of distractors. They cannot focus on both, listening to the audio and while, and answering the question, because the question itself has a lot of options and you're supposed to select one from them. And distractors make it even more tough. And what do I mean by distractors? What do I mean when I say there are a lot of distractors? So first is that the first distractor is a negated statements. Okay, so a lot of times we listen to the audio, the speaker is speaking, and uh, she gives us some sort of information. The speaker gives us some sort of information, and then she corrects herself. So here, a lot of students get confused as to which one of the options is right. Is it the first one or the one that's come after the correction that is made? So that is a distract. That is a type of distractor. Okay, or a statement can be corrected on the whole as well. Okay, so these are the examples of negative statements. Now synonyms. So it is not necessary that the words that you're going to hear in the audio will be the same as to what you will be seeing in your options or in your questions. So it's very important that you keep an eye out for the synonyms. Okay, so it's very important. Hi, Chirag, how are you doing? Yes. So second was synonyms. So make sure that you are keeping an eye out for the synonyms. Now comes third type of distractor, which is paraphrase statements. So again, it's not important that you will have the same kind of question as to in terms of what the speaker is saying. It won't be in the same tone. It's not necessary that it's in the same tone. So a lot of times students make a lot of mistakes here because they cannot understand that the statement is paraphrased, and so their focus is on looking at the statement that is similar to what is being said in the audio. So this makes a very big difference, and this causes a lot of difficulty to the students. So let's move ahead and let's see how can we overcome that. So there are a few strategies that you can use when you are trying to talk about distractors. First would be that it's important that you always listen to the speaker. Okay, you listen to the speaker completing her sentence or completing her part of the audio. For example, if there are 2 or 3 speakers in an audio, it's important that you let that particular speaker complete his sentence or his lines before you try answering. So a lot of times there are options given in the questions. So students, the students are listening to the audio, and the moment they see that one of the words from one of the options is said by the speaker, they rush to answering that. They don't let the speaker complete. They rush to answering it, and that's when and there's a good chance that the speaker might correct herself or himself at the end of the audio. So it's important that you let the speaker complete and not rush to answering. So always let the speaker complete. Second is beware of the vocabulary. Okay, be aware of the vocabulary that is used and focus on locating its synonym. Okay, so like I said, there are going to be a lot of synonyms that are going to be used. So for example, you have the questions with you beforehand. So take a look at the questions very closely as to what kind of vocabulary is being used, and then later on you can, when the audio is placed, when the audio plays, you can try cross-checking as to what is written and what is being said. If there is some sort of similarity, there is a good chance that a synonym is being used, and you have to locate that particular word and try answering your question. So always make sure that you're keeping an eye out for the vocabulary that is being used and its synonyms. Okay, to get a better accuracy for your answers. Okay. Then the third part is that a lot of times students just end up, focusing on the keywords and synonyms and the words and the paraphrase sentences, but they don't try to understand the audio clip on the whole. They do not try to understand, they don't pay attention to what the context of the audio is. They just keep searching for their answer. They don't try to listen to a conversation as a conversation. So it becomes really tough because there are going to be questions which will not be direct. There won't be any keywords that will require your comprehension skills. Okay, some questions are going to check your comprehension skills. So make sure that you're not just focusing on some sort of audio that is placed or some sort of keyword. That should not be your sole focus. Your focus is supposed to be overall as to what the context of the audio is and how you're supposed to approach the how you're supposed to understand the entire conversation. So that should be your main approach. Okay, so now let's move ahead and let's try to listen to the audio. Okay, so I will now be playing the audio for you, and we will try attempting all these 6 questions, and we will try to understand what are the distractors here. Okay, so let's go.
Section 3. You will hear 2 students called Tom and Bella attending the 3rd meeting of the after-school club. They are talking with their professor about the furniture company. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 26.
So this is the time for you to read through your questions properly. So make sure you're looking at them.
Now, listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 26.
Before we start, Tom and Bella, thanks for coming in today to talk about the key case studies that will help you to understand your classwork better. Now, I hope you've read the notes I gave you last week on the furniture company Willows, as this will be the focus of our discussion today. Let's begin. Who can tell me what the current focus of the company's business is?
The company used to be very large, with many retail outlets across the country. However, since the recession, there have been fewer people spending money on furniture, and so the company was forced to close all of its outlets, and now only operates online.
Well done, Tom. Bella, can you add anything?
Willows used to produce a very large number of products, such as tables, chairs, and light fittings. However, through market research, they realized that most of their profit was made from the sale of bookcases, so they now specialize in this one product.
Very good. Does anyone know how our department began its contact with Willows?
Did you contact the company, Professor?
No, Tom, it wasn't through me.
Our headmaster saw an article that the manager had written in the newspaper and became very interested in the company. He contacted Willows and arranged for a student to work there full-time during the summer.
Yes, exactly. Does anyone know what the student thought of their time working at Willows?
Yes, he is a friend of ours. He worked as a member of the design team, creating technical drawings of the furniture using a computer. There was a special software that he used, which he said had a bad interface and was very difficult to predict. However, it was very efficient and helpful for quickly drawing up furniture designs.
How interesting.
Yes, it was. We both visited him whilst he was working there, and he showed us around. Unfortunately, visitors were not allowed to access the IT department, but it was great to chat with his colleagues.
Did you meet his manager?
His manager is a very busy man, so he didn't have time to meet with us. However, we were allowed to inspect the accounts, which really helped us to understand the effects of the software on the company.
Well, what an exciting experience. Now, before I forget, next week I'll be conducting face-to-face interviews with each of you to prepare for job interviews.
Can we do it as a group?
I'm afraid not, Bella. I want to give each of you my undivided attention, and there will be too much disturbance if I interview you all together. Plus, it will be more realistic if I interview you alone.
Have you finished writing the feedback on our exam results, Professor?
Yes, I have, Tom, and I must say that I was not disappointed. I am glad to say that your performance has dramatically increased since you began attending this after-school club, and you have both scored above the average. If you continue to work hard, your results should soon improve significantly.
Okay, so this is the end of our audio. So for those of you who have been, who are listening to the class, who have listened to the audio, make sure that you are typing your answers in the comments box below so that I can see if you guys are, if you're finding this class helpful, or if there are any doubts that you think I need to address, then even those you can comment in the comment section below. So let's make this an interactive section, and you can answer these questions along with me. So, okay, let's go ahead and let's see the first question. Okay, so the first question is, what field is Willows currently focused on? Okay, let's take a look at our options. They are specializing in one product, making a variety of products, A, adding a lot of retail outlets. Okay, so the answer was with Bella. So she tried answering it. She tried answering the professor. So let's take a look at her answer. They used to make a variety of products like tables, chairs, etc. But most of their profit came from bookcases. So now they only specialize in one product. So for, let's look at the options again. So option C, I can right away eliminate because there is no mention of retail outlets, adding a lot of retail outlets. There is no mention of that. So I'm just going to cross this off. I'm going to eliminate option number C without a doubt. Okay. Now I have to choose between A and B. So let's take so let's see what a distractor is doing here. So as soon as the audio starts, as soon as Bella starts answering, you can see her that, she's trying to give us a lot of, she's giving us some hint as to make a variety of options, like a variety of products, like tables, chairs, etc. So the first instinct is to make, okay, the option B says the exact same thing, which is making a variety of products. So if you have marked B as soon as you heard the audio, then I must say it is going to be wrong, because this statement was negated in the end, in which she says that, but most of their profit came from bookcases. So now they only specialize in one product. Okay, so this is what a distractor does. So your option, if you have marked option number A, then your answer is correct, because this is what a distractor has done. They have the distractor has given us the keyword here from the options, but the keyword is negated in the second half of the audio. So make sure that you are listening to the speaker completely. Okay. Let's move on to question number 2 now. Question number 2 is, how was the contact established to the Willows? Okay, let's look at the options now. So my first option is, the professor contacted the company, an article was read in the newspaper, a student works part-time during the vacations. Okay, so now let's take a look at the answer that Bella gave. Our headmaster saw an article that the manager had written in the newspaper and got very interested in the company. He contacted Willows and arranged for students to work full-time during the summer. Okay, so now I can right away eliminate option number C, because it says part-time, whereas the answer says full-time. So it's a complete, they do not match at all. So it's a complete mismatch. So I'm going to right away eliminate option number C. So now I only have to choose between option A and B. So let's take a look at it. So the first half of the audio, again, the answer, the first half of the answer says, our headmaster saw an article that the manager had written. So if you have selected B, as soon as you heard, the audio say an article, saw an article. Okay, as soon as you heard that, and if you have answered B, then your answer is going to be wrong, because that is a distractor. Again, the second half of the audio negates negates the first one, in which the answer is given, which is in the that the manager had written in the newspaper and got very interested in the company. He contacted the company. So he read the article. Okay. So here the question is specifically asking us how the contact was established. So though he read the article and he was interested, he was the one who contacted the company. So here again, if you have rushed to your answer just by the keywords, then your answer is going to be wrong. The answer is A. Okay. I'm sorry, B, the article was read in the newspaper. Okay, so now let's move ahead to question number C, question number 3. Yes, let's move on to question number 3, which is, what did the students feel about the software? Tom, so the answer is with Tom. But before we move on to the answer, let's go ahead and see 1, 2, 3 option numbers ABC. It is not easy to predict. Slow for drawing designs. It had a good interface. So he used a special software which had a bad interface. So I can again negate option number 3. I can definitely eliminate it because it is the complete opposite. Okay, it's a bad interface and it's a good interface, so they do not match at all. Okay, and there was difficulty to predict. However, it was efficient. Okay, so what is the answer here? The answer is going to be, it is not easy to predict. Here there is a use of synonym. Okay, here it says difficult to predict, whereas it says easy. Okay, which is a synonym for not easy. Okay, so you see there's a use of synonym. So it's important that you keep an eye out for this. Okay, now if you have answered B, then your answer again is wrong because it was efficient. And here it says it's slow for drawing. Okay, so again, they are opposite. B and C are opposite of what Tom has said. So the answer is A. Now let's move ahead to question number 4. Yes. So the question number 4 says, how did the students find out about the effects of the software on the company? Okay, so let's take a look at the options again. They went to the IT department, they talked with the manager, they inspected the accounts. So both of them answered this question for the professor, asked by the professor. Visitors are not allowed. Bella says visitors are not allowed to access the IT department. So I can straight away go ahead and cut A because they did not have access. Okay, so this option is not relevant. Manager is then Tom says manager is a very busy man and he didn't have the time to meet with us. So again, I can eliminate option number B because it is the opposite of what Tom is saying. However, we were allowed to inspect the accounts. Okay. So the answer is given very straightforward to us, but again, you have to wait until Tom finishes speaking. Okay. So your answer is C for question number 4. Let's move on to question number 5. So the question number 5 says, the reason why students have a face-to-face interview alone is that. Okay, so here they're asking, the question is asking for the reason why the face-to-face interview is going to be conducted. Okay, so the options are, they could prepare for the exams, there will be less disturbance, it is less realistic. Let's take a look at what Bella is saying to this. So Bella asks, can we do it as a group? And professor says, no, I don't think so. I want to give each of you my undivided attention and there will be too much disturbance. Plus it will be more realistic if I interview you alone. So I can straight away eliminate option number A because it's not given at all. Then we can move on to option number B, which says there will be less disturbance. Okay. So so the answer to this will be B, because here the professor is saying himself that there will be too much disturbance and that's why I will not conduct a group interview. So now the skill that is required here that I was talking about in the beginning of our session is that you require comprehension skills. You have to take a look at the entire context. For example, the question is in a positive tone where they're asking you reasons why a face-to-face interview should be conducted, whereas professor's answer is in a negative tone where he's saying the reasons why a group interview should not be conducted. Okay, so there is a very slight detailing here that you're supposed to keep an eye out for. The answer here is for Bella's question, which is for a group, but the question that's given to us in the question paper is for a face-to-face interview. Okay, so a lot of times what happens is that students do not understand, do not pay attention to the context, and they make a lot of mistakes. So it's very important that you pay attention to the context, that in what context is the speaker speaking, and in what context is the question being asked. Okay, so it's that. Let's move on to question number 6 now. Yes, question number 6 says, how did the students perform in the exam? Okay, first option is very disappointing. Second is significantly good. Third option is above the average. So the professor answers this question for Bella. I am not disappointed at your performance. Okay, just by listening to this, I can say that very disappointing is not the answer because he is not disappointed. Okay, and your performance has dramatically increased. You have both scored above average. Let's continue listening to the audio. If you continue to work hard, your results should improve significantly. So this has not happened. So the answer to this is, of course, option number C, where they have scored above average. But for those of you who marked option number B, it's important again to pay attention because the significant improvement has not yet happened. It has not yet happened. This is something, it's a prospect that the professor is giving, that there is a good chance that you might improve if you continue doing things the same way. So your answer to this is going to be above the average, which is directly given to you. Okay, so this is how I hope this session was helpful, and this is how you answer these questions. I hope you understood how the distractors work and why important it is to listen to the complete audio and understand listening on the whole, and instead of just focusing on the detail, understanding the context of the audio is also important. So this test was taken from one of our ebooks provided by IELTSMaterial.com. So one of the listening ebooks. And if you are looking for an aid to aid your daily practice of IELTS, if you're looking for more material to practice on, you can always subscribe. You can always purchase our ebooks, and you will have all different types of questions that you need to practice on, and they will definitely help you in aiding your skills and preparation for the IELTS exam that you're going to give. So this is it from my side. I hope you found the session helpful, and I hope that the session was useful, and I hope that we can connect tomorrow again and we can discuss something different again tomorrow. So thank you so much. Make sure that you share this video. Make sure you meet me at the same time tomorrow for another session like this. Okay, thank you so much for joining in. This is me signing off. Thank you.